I thought the knock on or the lost ball which Farge picked up and put down, that looked pretty tight to me. That I think Kendall claimed that he'd called held. Well, I couldn't hear any held in the ground. That looked like a pretty harsh call, I thought. But anyway.
Yeah. I don't
know. I also think I'd like to have seen a slow-mo replay of the Wellesby disallowed try where he reached out to slam the ball down over the line.
It felt fair enough that it was coming out of control to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I might go back and have a look at that one because I felt at the time it was a try. I'd like to see whether he was in contact with the ball as it went down over the line. He doesn't have to be in control as long as it's not left his hand and his hand's on the ball as he's getting downward pressure. That's the only thing that matters.
No, if they've had grip of the ball, they have to remain in control of it. They can't just lose it and then touch it.
He can't. No, he can't lose the ball. But as long as his hand's on the ball, as the ball goes to the ground.
I don't know. I think it was a fair. I think it was a fair shout. You know, I think if the live call there's no try, there was nothing to overturn it.
We'll get lost in the minutiae. The bottom line is for this game was Saints were by far the better side.
Oh yeah, this felt as one-sided as the other two games' scorelines were.
And being live, I mean, it's the first time I've watched Saints live, obviously, this season. A few things struck me. The first was we were much quicker and fitter than the Hull side. Satai was blowing out of his arse after about 5 minutes. He couldn't get back to the line. And every time we ran really quickly at the Hull line, and they were really struggling to get themselves back and get themselves straight to defend. That was one of the big takes. I just felt
it's in there in the stats, isn't it? Walmsley, Thompson, LMS being big numbers,
quicker.
The forwards set a platform massively.
Yeah, and got us moving forward. I also felt and again, I haven't watched them live before. It's all been on TV, but it was really the first half was really the first time this year I felt like we had a proper shape and structure on the attack. It looked right. We moved the ball quickly. We moved particularly down the left. We kept finding space and creating overlaps. So it was the first time really this year I felt, that looks like a properly sharp attack.
Yeah.
We've kind of got over the line in previous games on the back of our defence. We actually looked very threatening, I think, with the ball this time, which is the first time this year. So it was great to be there. I thought I'd actually be quite emotional, this being the first game back, and I've missed live sport, both rugby and football, so much. I thought I'd actually be quite emotional when I got in the ground. But to be honest, I was so worried about the game, I didn't have time to be emotional. I was so keyed up about whether we could actually win the damn thing that I didn't have time to be emotional at the time.
And there was barely any atmosphere, so it'll be like you were never away.
Oi. Yeah, I think it's very unwise of you to stick the knife in before we start talking about your performance in Catalan, buddy.
We've already talked about the big game on Saturday.
No.
No, but was there any of the particular scores that stood out for you in this game?
I very much liked the breakdown field created by Morgan Knowles in the second half, and then he moved it on to Lomax, who turned it back inside to Batchelor on a. That was a nice try.
He gifted Joe Batchelor a try.
He did. He could have gone in.
They must really find the sight of him doing a nudie run disgusting for them to have put it on a plate for him like that to make sure he doesn't have to do one this year. That's all I can say.
But it was a
he
very
must have a messy fucking downstairs area. That's all I can think.
Anyway, we won't find out, will we? Not this year, anyway. So that was a very tidy try. I mean, what really impressed me about it was actually Knowles' break.
Yeah.
His footwork at the line was excellent. It really was very encouraging to see Knowles come back into such good form. So, good news. Hopefully, at a great performance for Saints, particularly in the first half. I do hope we can turn it on again this coming weekend. We'll see.
I think, the fact that Hull did score right at the end there, the fact that there were those close calls where they tackled a man right as he was putting the ball down, tackled a man into touch as he was about to put the ball down a couple of times, shows that there was still some spirit there, but they didn't perform, they didn't hit all their skills.
No.
In this game, whereas Saints did hit all their skills most of the time, certainly in the parts of the pitch they needed to, what meant they never put any pressure on themselves, really.
Yeah. I mean, Hull's pack couldn't get sufficient go forward to give the backs a platform to play. So they were on the back foot all the time. People like Connor and Snide and so on were never really got the opportunity to trouble Saints with the ball in the 20. It may well be a different story this weekend. Who knows? But unless Hull's pack can really shape up and get them some go forward, they'll find it hard again this weekend, I think.
Well, it's been sunny in the northwest, hasn't it, the last few days? What's the forecast looking like for a week on Saturday? Cloudy.
Who knows?
On Saturday, sorry.
Don't think it's going to be wet.
Yeah, cloudy and not super warm, but more in Saints' favour than Hull's, I think. Okay. So we've already talked about the big game on Saturday afternoon, so we'll move on to Sunday's action.
Nice try.
Of course,
go
Saturday
to the south
tea time.
Of France for some merguez sausages and some lovely cold beer.
It was 16-0 to the home side Catalan Dragons at half-time. They padded that out to a hugely impressive 48-0 come full-time. James Child was the referees. In terms of stats, like the other games, the stats were one-sided like the scoreline was. Catalans made almost twice as many metres as Wigan, 725 more. Wigan only had 800 and something. A hugely better average gain, 2.9 metres per carry. Penalty count is a massive area of concern for Wigan, losing this one 11-7. Individually, Tom Davies came back to haunt his former club, a try assist 152 metres. Joel Tompkins came back to haunt his former club 150 metres. Mike McMeekan, one try and 134 metres. And the irrepressible Artur Morg, one try assist, 9 tackles, 118 metres, 2 clean breaks. For Wigan, making around about 14% of his side's metres, is the only man we can consistently rely on, it turns out, and that is my man Liam Farrell.
Indeed, lots of comments on this game.
Well, disciplinary-wise, first of all, and I'm sure it'll come up within the comments, but Joel Tompkins has been given a grade D charge for punching, so that's going to be referred to the tribunal to make a decision on the 3 to 5 game ban, given he just came back from a...
He should have been sent off at the time, to be honest. I know it was sin-binned, he should have been sent off, I think.
Yeah, the time on the clock meant it was irrelevant. In a way,
it was, but
I think probably shown a yellow for the fact that it was reactionary to what went before it rather than anything else, I think. But yeah, grade D. So he's probably looking at a 5-game ban if we're honest with ourselves, with his recent disciplinary record taken into consideration. And he did throw 4 or 5 punches. One of them, I think, Brad Singleton's unlucky to not have a broken nose from
to the head
as he took the unexpected fire there. And Zach Hardacre of Wigan, grade C charge for headbutting, which is a 2-match penalty notice. His headbutt was certainly less violent than the punches that came back at him, but certainly more unnecessary as well. Pathetic stuff.
I'm surprised he didn't get a charge for the tackle that came before it all kicked off, where he went in between the legs to lift as well.
I just think it was all kicked off by Zach Hardacre thinking he's somehow better than Sam Tompkins when he needs to fucking rein his ego in. And to be honest, he'd been as fucking absent on the field as he was for the last 7 minutes in the first 73, from my point of view. It was not a time... Yeah, he's been fantastic in games this year. Don't get me wrong, but he needs to focus on performing for his side rather than thinking anything else about who's the best player in what position and whatnot. Anyway.
Agreed. Comments. Mark refers to the tackle that I was talking about here in his comments. Hopefully COVID rules didn't stop Catalans from selling hot dogs at the ground because they sent enough Wigan players for them during the game. They were outrageously good, although I won't do the "are they the real deal this year" speech, as that's when they'll lose 7 in a row. Very possibly. Also, if Zach Hardacre admires Rod Hull so much, why not just buy an emu instead of using an opponent as one?
Tom Andrews said, can't remember the last time Wigan got tonked like that. Can't help but enjoy it though. No problem with Joel only getting yellow. Bigger problem if you stand by and let someone do that to your brother or teammate. Still get a ban for his more than questionable record though. And the fact that he threw several punches at people's heads.
Watched the game in a pub in Warrington, and despite how bad we were, I don't care. Tim and I support a PL side. Madness.
Yeah, Lee being originally from down south and being a Brentford fan like our Tim G.
All right.
That's where he's angling with that rather than talking about Rugby League, which I don't blame him on Saturday afternoon if I was him.
No, I think we'll let him off this time, won't we?
Joshua's granddad said, lucky to score 0. Zach showed his true colours to see red. Joel should have joined him if only for not sparking Hardacre punching like that. Wigan barmaids have nothing to worry about.
Pub the Viking says, a great result for Catalan. Wigan just not good enough tonight. Catalan on a roll at the moment with wins against both unbeaten teams and Hull before that. Thought the ref got both cards correct.
Alan Walker said, I suppose Wigan kept their first team at home because COVID, but it was a bit tough on their under-16s to have to play a decent Dragon side in the sunshine. Good to see Morg and Is It I Leguer score.
A bit of a I Leclerc reference there. Dave Hunter says, Catalans just dominated the collision and controlled the game. Exactly right. Wigan never looked in the game. Also right. This is what Catalans can do when their aggression is disciplined. Absolute brain explosion from Zach Hardacre late in the game.
You missed David's joke there. Read that again.
Wigan never looked in the game. This is what Catalans can go.
No, the last line.
Absolute brain explosion from Zach Hardacre late in the game. Sorry, David. I really spoiled your little pun there.
Matt Speakman said, the only positive here is I was playing cricket and didn't have to watch this shower. It's been coming for ages. We're one injury to an outside back away from Mark starting, I think. Could be a long few months. It would be if I was fucking playing, that's for sure.
Callum Percy, 99, brackets, Wigan drummer, close brackets. Oh, it's you, is it? Says, shit with a big, fat, full stop.
You know, I think the last time Wigan got tonked like that, certainly the last time I felt like this, after this Wigan defeat, was probably Catalans away in Barcelona when I think me and Callum were on the same flight home, actually, because I think I saw him in the airport KFC or whatever they had over there, big Burger King or whatever it was. But yeah, you know, it was a real embarrassment, as both Liam Farrell and Adrian Lamb have said in post-match interviews. It was a real embarrassment. Wigan didn't perform, and Catalans really did perform. The most un-Wigan-like aspect of this game was our goal line defence was woeful, and right from the off as well. I mean, McIlaurin's try was fucking pathetic defence. Yeah. And nothing like what we normally see, especially when Hardacre's at fullback. Normally, that's what you talk about. We have the numbers in the right place. We have the players with the right attitude, making the right plays on our own goal line. That was absent from the off in this game. And actually, there were times in the game where I felt like Wigan gave up a bit. which maybe in the back end we didn't. We showed a bit of fight and tried to score and had probably our first attacking set in there 10 metres from the first.